Hi,
There. How am I doing? So few.
Barb.
I love the ship behind you.
Oh, thanks. I'm at my friend's. This is the house sitting house. Hi, Barb.
Hey, how you guys doing? You have a
Good.
you have a ship and I have aliens invading behind me. I just can't stop the glow this time of day, so it's just sunny here in New York.
Yeah,
And
well,
I
that's
need it.
good. You want sun.
Yeah, I need it. I just tried to get rid of the glow and I have to turn off all the lights and pull down the shades and I just can't do that right now. It will not be good for my mental health. So,
What
you
happened to your
I just didn't put
background
them up.
screen?
I just didn't put them up. I was
Okay.
like, I just didn't feel like putting them up. That's more of like if Todd's working behind me, or if like I need, I don't want. I'm doing a podcast interview, and I don't want weird strangers to see my back, or this, or because sometimes the background looks like aliens are about to come through the window. Like
Yeah.
that's really what it's for. So I was like, you guys have seen it. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna be fancy. So
We're not fancy
we're
around here.
not fancy around here.
Well, Happy New Year officially. I mean, we saw each other over the weekend, but it wasn't like a opportunity to chat and catch up. So Happy New
Yeah.
Year. How was
Happy New Year.
everyone's holidays?
Fine.
Yeah,
Yeah. How
good.
was yours?
Same.
Fine.
Kind of sad for me, to be honest.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to be past all of that.
Yeah.
So, but Barb, you're getting ready to go to Miami for your book launch. Well,
Tomorrow launches. Tomorrow is the last plane ride of the book launch for the foreseeable future. So that's good. I'm glad to be done with travel with planes. The other two that are coming up are train and car. So that's a little bit easier. So yeah. So yeah, I'm getting ready
nice.
to do that. So that'll be fun. I'm kind of, I'm done. Kind of done. So
I'm curious how it's been going for you and
Yeah,
what,
same.
yeah.
it's been going very well. I mean, I'm like it's been going really really well. Like I've had great, just in terms of having great turnouts, and and just being able to sell the book and just getting the book. And what's been nice is it's like I've had great reception from my family, which no memoirist can ever say. So I feel like that's a huge win. And I've had and then I've also had a lot of like moments of just total strangers showing up. I think the only place where I didn't know where I knew everybody in the room was here in New York. And even then, like some people came up to me after the event and asked about the book and things like that. So it's been really great. I'm expecting Miami is actually the place where I know the fewest people. It's the largest RSVP list. The most number of people have RSVP'd. So I'm like, I don't know who is going to show up. So we'll see.
Awesome.
It's awesome. Yeah, it's definitely felt like five weddings, and while that's been great and I'm glad to just kind of suck it up, it is exhausting.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I'm also ready to sort of like, move on and figure out what the next phase of book events are going to be, because it's like um
Mhm.
it's like how do I keep, no, and I don't need to necessarily keep this momentum going, but it's like, how does this become like something bigger than just, yay, Barb published a book, which is
Right.
great and fun. And I'm happy to, have those moments, but it's definitely been exhausting and I'm like ready to be done. So yeah, it's almost over.
Well, I have just been so impressed by everything you've been doing. Like,
Yeah,
not
it's been
just
good.
the in-person events, but the online stuff with the podcast episodes and the articles and the lists that you've landed on. Is that mostly your publicists?
That's all the publicist.
Okay.
The only interviews, the only thing that's all the publicists, the only thing I did on my own was your podcast, Jana. And then I did an interview that um, hasn't come out yet, but it was with it's with one of the New Orleans NPR affiliates, the WBRH, which is the Radio for the Blind. They basically do readings of newspapers, periodicals, books for the blind every single day, 24/7, and then they have author interviews. So
Cool.
I did one of those that came through my aunt in New Orleans, and so but that was it. Those were the only two that I kind of did on my own. Then there was one, the piece on booksbywomen.org came through the publisher, came through She Writes Press, but my publicist was going to go to them anyway. So it was like, oh, good, one less thing I have to do. So yeah, it's all come through the publicist, which has been really exciting. I actually had a meeting with this is the end of the campaign technically ends next week. So I had a meeting yesterday with Sarah, my publicist, and she was like, okay, here's a list of things for you to do. And I'm like, no, I'm done. Like, I'm really done. I was like, let's pick like 3 things I can do. So like, it's, and I know part of me is sort of like, I should take her whole list of to do things, because she's basically just going to hand stuff off to me. So I'm like, give me your whole list. I'm going to pick and I'm going to pick things I'm going to want to do. Cause like in April, when I have a massive depression that, I'm no longer in like, book glory, then this will be an easy list to pivot to and be like, let me reach out to somebody, that she
Oh,
had
and
already with.
yeah, it's going to be awesome for you to have a list that you can just use to kind of like maintain. It doesn't have to all be done all at once.
Exactly. And these are leads that, that she's still actively working on. And for whatever reason, they're longer leads. So, it's more worth it for me to follow up. She's also going to give me the list of all the people that she contacted, whether they responded or not. So I can get in touch with those people anytime I feel like I have something interesting going on, or things like that. So it's a very, very good resource. But I was just
awesome,
like,
Bart. It sounds like it was really worth the investment.
it really was. It really was. They did a big overhaul on my website. And they said they were going to do a big overhaul on social media, but really all that ended up being was just sort of like taking all the things that Ashley would have us do and all the, kind of like what I had worked through with Ashley during her workshop, and really finally getting the messaging down on that. Yeah. It's like when you have something to say, when you have something to talk about, and not just, oh, I'm selling a book, but talking about like the bigger themes connected to the book. And then, Margaret and I had done Yadon's class. Yeah. And Yadon started an accountability group that I was able to go to. It started in December, but it started the day of my New Orleans book event. So I went to the one last week. So now I've got like, it's just practical applications for like all these things we talk about platform, that great mysterious thing. It's like, now I know, thanks to both Yadon and the publicist, it's like, now I know exactly, it's no longer this weird mysterious thing. It's like, once you have the bigger themes to discuss and the like kind of brand, if you will, behind it, then platform gets totally demystified. And then it's just a matter of understanding like LinkedIn is a better platform for certain things, and just understanding those little nuances. So it's and Substack breaks all the rules, but that's okay. So it did feel good. It feels like I have definitely like graduated. So that's come through the threshold. Cool. Yeah. So the biggest thing was, I got a writing assignment yesterday. And again, it's like, I am excited about this because I did make a list. The book made a list on Ms. Magazine, which I nearly pardon the expression, I nearly shit my pants when I saw that. I was like, oh my God, Ms. Magazine, and
you pitched them and they said yes?
No, not randomly, the publicist sent the book to Ms. Magazine for a review, and they put it on a list of recommended reads.
I saw that.
Yeah. So then they circled back to the publicist and said, does she have anything she wants to pitch? So I am writing a pitch for a feature for Ms. Magazine. And of course, that's not, so that was my assignment from yesterday. So of course, as soon as I was like, oh, I don't want anything else to do, I was like, oh no, but I'm going to do that. I'm like, oh yeah. If I could potentially get a feature in Ms. Magazine, I'm absolutely doing. I'll send you 5. I'll send you 30 pitches like tomorrow morning. So I did.
Yeah,
I did that.
that's awesome.
Actually, I didn't send 30. I only sent 2. But so we'll see. We'll see how that goes, because that would be great. That would be for Women's History Month in March.
Cool.
So then that's nice. It's like that's a lot of time for me to write it and fine tune it and actually work directly with the editor. And because the publicity team is done as of next week, like that's something I get to do with them all on my own. So that's
right.
That's good. Yeah. So
Cool.
That's exciting. So yeah, that's that.
Love it. So proud.
I feel like I'm rubbing elbows with the big wigs.
Yeah. Lyselle, how are you, my dear?
I'm good. I'm good. Just as I was coming to the computer, I was looking for a piece of writing that I knew I had done that I told somebody because it was about them when they were a kid. And I found a whole bunch of super short stories that I did for a class I took, and this would be 1991 or 92, called the Illuminated Autobiography. It was a cross-discipline class in the University of Southern Maine, where I got my bachelor's, had just instituted that this was a requirement. So like during my senior year, I had to do this requirement. I wasn't expecting, but I loved it because we did autobiographical memoirs, little stories, and we illustrated them. And the assignments always included, we weren't doing a picture of what we were writing, we were doing something in a picture form that was the next part of the storyline. So it was a difficult concept for me at first, but then I got it. But anyway, I found the short story. I also came across a folder, and this is the name of my next workbook. And this is from, probably about 15 years ago, when I was just getting into somatic experiencing. And I must have done some thinking about this fall stuff. So, actually, it says 2018 on the, anyway. So I'm going to look through that and see if there's anything that I want to bring into my book. I've been doing some short journaling stuff that I periodically do. So I've been doing some more of those, and some of it's just sort of conceptual things. Like I was talking with a friend, and we were talking about finding, what were we calling it? It wasn't this word, but sort of the middle way, like when there's the horrible and there's the wonderful, and then finding, some sort of middle place. And I got thinking about the myth of Goldilocks, right? Because there isn't actually a middle point for any of us. There's things that are sort of better and easier to get along with, but even within that, there's stuff around it, so it's not like there's the awful and there's the wonderful and there's the perfect in the middle, just right size spoon and bowl. Oh, no, the world isn't like that. So just keeping track of some of these conversations and doing little journal entries that may become of something at some point. So, but I feel energetic. I am in the process of doing a very clear, hard line between me and sugar. And it's really freeing to do that rather than to play around with it like I like to, because I'm a sugar addict, but I have a lot of energy for other stuff. when I'm not doing that. So that feels good.
Is there any of the any material you found in that folder that you're going to incorporate into the book, or is it all
I don't know yet.
already in there?
I don't know yet.
Okay.
I haven't really dove into it
Okay.
the way I plan to. Um,
That's kind of fun.
yeah, yeah. And I've worked on the book. Well, we've had a couple of writing sessions, and I do a Monday morning co-working session through the Quantum Biology Collective that I'm a member of. And so I worked on that. I got free of this idea that I need to be working on something that's specifically quantum biology oriented.
Yeah.
Um, Although I have, and I have some additions to my website that my web person is working on for me. So, but yeah, using that time for like, okay, I got this hour, I got my co-working energy and just going through it. So I've made some good progress and I will continue to make good progress. It's really clear like this is something I'm wanting and ready to complete.
Mhm.
So, and I don't know if I shared that my friend Sarah has wanted to do like a specialty training for her training community, the Equisomas horse human trauma recovery. Um, and so we talked some about doing it about falls recovery. And so we have a date in May. It's gone from a 3-day training to a 4-day training, and she knows that I may not be able to be there for 4 days online for 7 hours a day. Just my mental health, not even to mention Terry. Um, but yeah, so I'm pretty excited about that, and that's I just say a soft deadline because I don't. It's not right for me right now to do a solid deadline, but that's a soft deadline for me to have the book finished. Um, and maybe doable, when I think about editing and time for editing and revisions and all that stuff. But
And when would that soft deadline be?
um, I think the second week in May.
Okay, that's doable.
Yeah, the, the time it takes to finish it, get it out first reader back from the first, it's so I'm not I'm choosing not to put the pressure that a deadline like that makes for me, but it's like it's a target.
Yeah.
The target, not a deadline. So that works better for me. It's a target. So
Okay,
yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah.
All right. Well, anything coming up for either of you that you want to talk through around trying to figure out or you need support with?
Well, I could use a little kick in the ass, a little
Okay.
encouragement.
I'm here for that.
We're here for that. Around just finishing up some short pieces and getting them on Substack. Part of me, it's like my staying in my own little world thing rather than just like, yeah, okay, the rest of the world here, somebody might want this. I don't know. Somebody might want this rather than like, yeah, let me just keep writing.
Well, it sounds to me like you are that the barrier might be around Instagram or not Instagram, but Substack? Like, do you feel like you have a purpose and a reason for publishing there?
Well, it's kind of my place where I put something longer than a Facebook post.
Okay.
Yeah. And I've put a bunch of stuff out there and it's well received. So
Mhm.
that isn't keeping me from doing it. It's just sort of like, I don't know. It's probably along the lines, probably along the lines of I love starting things and it's hard for me to finish them. So I have hundreds of starts, and I have even I think one or two that I've imported into Word to tidy up, and then it's like, yeah, I've had enough of this. And so
Um,
yeah.
well, when you publish there, what is the outcome that feels like it's worthwhile?
Then I've shared something, I've put some experience I've had into words, and there's usually a bunch of emotions that I share during it, and some little snippet of a life lesson is available through it, and more animal stories for the most part.
Mhm.
I think this one is about maybe because it's not the story doesn't have an ending yet. Maybe that's why I'm not ready. That story doesn't have an ending, but maybe that's what it's about. Is some stories don't have endings, meaning I have so many different emotions in my efforts to find what I can offer him to eat so that he'll eat these custom made supplements designed to balance his hay so he has the best chance of being healthy.
Mhm.
That's what motivates me to go through all this. And a couple of months ago, he just started turning his nose up to them, and I changed pans and I changed ratios and I changed flavors and and it's still not fixed. Still, like he'll eat it one day and I go, oh, okay, maybe this is it. And then the next meal, nope. That's the one that I thought I would get done and get out. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I mean, it sounds like if it really is just a place to share and it's something that you do primarily because you want to, it doesn't sound like it needs to be anything more than that, and you can just kind of let yourself do it when you want to.
Well, I that's always been my thing. I don't
Yeah.
like do it every Wednesday or Saturday. I know
Yeah.
some people schedule. And it's been long since the last one I did. So that's sort of my like, okay, I this could easily be a good story for Substack. And yeah. So I mean, part of why I do Substack and Facebook and Instagram is getting conversations, being heard, being received.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
so.
I think this sounds like a great opportunity for a serial on Substack. Like, here's start like something you can come back to and update us on, like a little adventure series, you know.
Yeah.
It sounds like something you should just throw out there, Lacelle, and then come back to it whenever you have an update, especially, and then let the ending kind of,
Yeah, there isn't an ending yet.
there isn't an ending. Yeah.
Live with dilemma, you know.
Well, yeah, like maybe just kind of like a little weekly, well, whenever
Or
you
monthly.
want, but it's like some sort of regular update on the status of what's happening with trying to get him to eat the thing.
Uh-huh.
I think you always have embedded in your Substack is a really great lesson about the natural world as kind of a stand-in for human nature, you know? And I think this totally fits in with that, how it's like,
Mhm.
we're all kind of trying things and seeing what works and revising, and something works one day and something doesn't work the next. It's very true of life.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Thank
Yeah.
you for that.
Yeah, I agree
Yeah.
with that.
And I've had to force myself to, I use my Substack deadline, which I have completely blown up. I use my Substack publishing schedule to make me not hold on to something for too long. I try to
Mhm.
just tell myself the stakes are low, which they are. I think I'm somewhere south of 200 subscribers, a handful of paid subscribers. It's like these are mostly, for the most part, people I know or have some sort of, first or second degree connection to. Um, so it's like it's like this is preaching to the choir. It's like the audience is friendly, and so I can put out something that I don't feel 100% about, and I almost always go back 2 weeks later, reread what I wrote, and then be like, oh no, that was totally fine. Why did I think that wasn't fine? That always happens.
Mhm.
So so I make myself publish on like a bi-weekly Wednesday schedule, and then I do the weekly things on Monday, and those are fun. Just because that's really where I can kind of just do whatever I want, and that will definitely be. It had a lot more structure to it coming up on the book launch, and so I had a few left over. But I'm about to just be like, nah, this is literally where I get to publish whatever I want on Mondays and possibly on Wednesdays too. But I've used to use their scheduling feature a lot more, where I would write something and then I felt like I couldn't go back to it. I of course managed to immediately break that rule. It's like, oh, it's been scheduled. Oh, now let me take it down and put something else in there, or let me look at it before it goes out the night before and completely rewrite it, and then maybe I'll still publish it, or maybe it's like, so that schedule feature, could help you sort of release something if you
Mhm.
wanted to think about that.
Yeah. And I'm just having some casual thoughts about, well, maybe I could find a time that I could commit to schedule a Rusty update type
Right.
of thing. Right. And just do that. Oh, there's a whole other story there, isn't there? Because I used to never, I intentionally would not feed my horses. I had Rusty and another horse before she died, because I didn't want them to, I'd heard about how horses get used to something, and then if you don't do it, the consistency, it really disturbs them. And it's like, okay, so I won't be consistent, so they can't get disturbed about that. Well, 20 years later, it's like consistency is important. And I still struggle with being consistent myself, regardless of the animals. But I'm just sort of seeing a little sub story here.
Mhm.
Okay. I just need, another 10 to 20 hours each day. That would,
You do, LaSalle. That's called tomorrow.
oh, yes, but tomorrow's not the day I publish anything. Yeah,
I just
yeah.
mean, if you're looking for another 20 hours, that's called the next day.
Yeah. I don't think I quite get that logic, but that's all right. Or maybe that logic is supporting a behavior I don't want to support anymore.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Thank you
What else?
both.
So I'm attacking something I think I'm calling marshmallow time. I've
Oh,
noticed how much fluff happens in my day that seems important. It's entirely the ball pit's fault. And I can only, because I've been back since January the 5th, I had a big sabbatical for the book launch. So every time I get an extended period of time that's ball pit free, and then then of course the company was closed for the holidays for almost 2 weeks. So I just rolled from sabbatical, checked my email one day, and then rolled right into the holidays, and then officially came back January the 5th. Um, I see things so clearly, and I'm like, there is so much fluff time built in to it is nothing but marshmallow time built into the day. And I've noticed how, like, that created such panic. Um, and so much anxiety. I mean, part of it is also me just coming to terms with the fact that, like, 20 like the second half of 2024 and 2025 for me has been absolutely terrible. Despite all the good things going on, it was like I stayed in kind of a very heightened, I was in crisis mode, like, pretty much the whole time. And there was always a crisis over something, even if it was something good, and I think I have to downshift out of that. So I think marshmallow time has presented itself because I'm, like, just hyper vigilant looking for a crisis. It's like, oh, if I continue to pay attention to this, very with a lot of like, if I show up fully, then I'll be able to catch any kind of crisis that evolves. And all that ends up happening is, not that I end up wasting a lot of time, but I wonder why. Like, then I end up kind of circling back, and it's like, well, why haven't you written a Substack in the last couple of weeks? And it's like, well, because I've been putting my attention elsewhere.
mm.
And I want to just, like, this is probably going to hurt everybody else more than it's going to hurt me. Um, I just want to pull back from that, and just be like, I need to, I if I'm gonna have marshmallow time, I literally want to be on my couch reading a book and resting and recovering from the chaos that I've experienced in the last couple of weeks. I don't think I have any kind of writer's block. I just don't really feel like sitting down to write. Like, I haven't wanted to I know exactly what the schedule is going to be for my writing schedule. I just don't know when I'm going to start it. So it's like, it's just kind of like, it's because it's like my body and my brain and my creative self is just like, we would like we would like this time for us, please. And like, I have to, I just kind of have to take a moment to be like, all right, there's nothing happening right now, and I have to do something else. I have to do something for me. I have to
Mhm.
do, like, there doesn't we don't have to I don't have to do something. I was experiencing so many moments of, well, if I don't do it now, when is it going to get done? So I was, like, sort of living from, like, action to action, and I've realized that created, like, a habit and a way of living that I'm just like, okay, that can stop now. So
Yeah.
so just making myself and calling it marshmallow time has been like, oh, here I am trying to do things. Nothing needs to be done, like.
I feel you on that, Barb, and it's been an interesting shift for me to focus less on things that are just kind of inessential. Like, they were essential before because I made them essential, but if I just kind of, like, release them and leave them be, it always kind of comes back around at the moment when, okay, now it is urgent and now I will address it or whatever. But it's hard to describe because it's
Hmm.
mostly just a shift in my own approach to kind of just caring. I was going to say caring less, but it's not that I care less. It just means that I'm um, only giving my attention to the things that need it.
I
Mm,
I know exactly what you're talking about. It is incredibly hard to describe.
Mhm.
The best thing that I've really come up with is like I literally probably because I'm a Libra, I literally put things on a scale and it takes a minute. Like I've spent the last 15 days, well, really the last 12, being like, wait a second, like this, I have run pell mell into this situation. I have the other day, a dermatologist appointment got canceled. And I was like, oh, I was 15 steps down to rescheduling and like upending my whole schedule when I'm like, I haven't even responded to the dermatologist. It was one of those things where like she had some sort of emergency procedure to do. And it was like, I'm going to have to, the nurse is like, we're going to have to bump you because she's got this emergency thing going on. And the nurse was like, here is where we can fit you back in. And I was immediately like, okay, if I move this and I move that for that, then I can make it work. And I'm like, no.
No.
I had to catch
mm,
myself and
Yeah.
just write her back and say, I'm traveling this weekend. I may get back to you before I go, or it may be I'll get back to you sometime next week and hit send.
Yeah.
It's like this is a not
Fine.
an emergency checkup for me by any means. Sure enough, as I was on the subway today coming back from the gym, I was like scrolling through my calendar and I'm like, oh look, she said there's some time available next Thursday at like 10 a.m. Let me go grab that. That actually works out perfectly with because of the Miami
Mhm.
trip. My gym schedule is going to be slightly different, but then I can, do this on this day, And I was like, oh, look. So I just texted her right back. Hey, Regina, I can make,
Mhm.
Tuesday make it can make Thursday at 10:30 if that's still available. Wrote right back with a thumbs up. I'm like, but just leave it alone. It fixes
mm,
itself,
Yes.
mm.
So it's like
Yes.
I have to kind of like put it on a scale of like, wait, I don't have to like, I'm not rushing to get this appointment done right this very second. Like, obviously, the doctor needs to handle the emergency and needs to know that, like, I'll show up later or whatever. It's like, this is not, I'm responding to everything like it's a crisis. And it's like, whoa, this is not so not a crisis. Like,
Right.
I'll look at these dates later. And I didn't even look. I didn't even, no ringer came up on my calendar to be like, reschedule your dermatologist appointment. No, it was like, the thought just occurred to me as I was looking at my calendar for next week, you
Mhm.
know, and not because I needed to schedule something, not because, just because I was like, what is next week looking like out of curiosity, you
Mhm.
know? Oh, wait, didn't she have some time on Thursday? Let me go see if that time's still available. And it
Mhm.
worked out. It was like it can be organic that way,
It can be organic and it can be that easy.
It can be that easy. Yeah. And it's like letting some of that, you know,
Yes.
happen. It's just that the the energy and the skills and sort of the like, for lack of a better word, the parts that had to activate to get me through the book tour, and get me through juggling all the things I had to juggle last year, um, now need to be told, like, they now need to be laid off. Like, they now need to be like furloughed. Like, your assignment is finished. Like,
Yeah, thank you. You did your job.
the way we do with our freelancers. It's like, oh, you're wrapped. We'll call you guys again next
You're
time.
wrapped.
You're wrapped. Like, you're wrapped. It's time for
And
you to.
probably they're wrapped for good because you could potentially approach the next book launch in your future with kind of this new awareness, this new realization that even in high intensity moments, with a lot of responsibilities and a lot of things coming at you, even in those type of situations, you can still react and respond and behave in this way and just kind of like not be so reactive, let things sit for a little bit and just let them kind of work themselves out.
Yep.
we don't always have to be the ones inserting ourselves to force whatever outcome we think we need
Hmm.
when there is an energetic movement happening around us to support us.
Hmm.
I mean, that's one of the
Absolutely.
hardest things I've ever had to learn. I mean, I'm still
Hmm.
learning it. I haven't obviously mastered it or perfected it, but just within the last year, it's become more apparent that things are okay and often work out better if I just leave them alone for a little while.
Hmm.
Mm.
Hmm.
So, yeah, they can be wrapped forever.
And it can be very like they can be really they don't know who they work for. You know, that's the other thing too. Like I've noticed that it's like, you know, today, yesterday when I was talking to Sarah, my publicist, I had been I had had a date on hold since before since like November to do a podcast interview today at noon. And she
Mm-hmm.
brought it up that it was never confirmed. It's just was holding on my calendar.
Mm-hmm.
She said she brought it up. I did not bring it up. She brought it up and she said she had not heard back from the podcast host. And that's
Mm-hmm.
why, and did I still have that time on my calendar and was I still available? I was like, yes, but I would probably need to know by like 6 p.m. yesterday, Eastern
Yeah.
time, because it's a West Coast based, you know, because like obviously if I can get the time back, I can get the time back.
Yeah.
And as has happened a lot, Sarah said, yeah, I'll get back to you either way. She did not get back to me at all. So I
Oops.
was like, and that has happened. She has said that, you know, that is definitely, and, you know, and it's like something I'm very familiar with in the entertainment industry. It's like,
Yeah.
I'll get back to you. And ultimately it's like, um, no, it like, if you're not getting back to me, it means that the other person didn't get back to you. Like you're doing the thing that I personally hate being the
Yeah. That's one of my
telephone
biggest pet
operator.
peeves. Like,
Yeah.
don't say it unless you're going to do it.
To a great degree, it's the publicist's job, you know, but
Yeah.
but also it's like it has happened several times where it's like something has not been confirmed, and what has immediately happened is I wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, you know, being like, oh, hey, and then she gets an email from me at 5 o'clock in the morning, hey, did this or did this not get confirmed, you know? And 99% of the time, it's like by 9 a.m. when she gets into the office, it's a yes or a no. Or
Mhm.
she's like, I haven't heard anything, consider it a no. If for some
Yeah.
reason they crawl up on my beach an hour before they need to talk to you, I will say, well, you didn't get back to us and she had to take another commitment or something. You know, it's like
Yeah.
this is you do your job. I don't have to do your job for you, you know?
Yeah.
So when I didn't hear from her, I checked my email at 6 o'clock, my author email at 6 o'clock, shut off, and didn't think about it again until now when I was like, oh right, I did it this very well today, something that I did
Good.
very not badly, but something that I just had a different reaction to. But my
Yeah.
point there is like, I think I have the people, the crew, the freelance crew, um the gaffers and the set designers and the people who are, you know, the logistics people who are loading in for the event, think that think that they work for Sarah. It's like, oh, we've got to ask Sarah this. Oh, remember, we've got to, or, you know, when in fact it's like, no, 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 you work for me. And I told Sarah what the rules were, and we haven't heard. Therefore, we are going to assume that this interview is not happening, and we are going to do something else at noon today.
Yeah.
You know, no, guys, you know, and it's like they're raising their hands, like,
Yeah.
but no, 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 guys, you don't work for her. You work for me. You work for
Yeah.
me. And I have talked to Sarah, and this is they don't know who they work for either. Which again, it's like, you know, you don't know who you work for. That's
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like now you're really done because you're really confused because you think you work for everybody. You know,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, so yeah,
Uh, I mean, basically, what we're talking about is discontinuing our over functioning.
yeah. Hmm.
Building trust that if I downshift a little bit, it'll still all work out.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, and it's the only trust that you're building in that case is in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
maybe in the universe, or whatever you want to call that energy that is surrounding us that I was describing before, because you are learning to trust others over time if you're in regular um reciprocal relationships with them, right? But otherwise, like Barb, in the context of what you're talking about, like there's no basis for the trust in this person who's not getting back to you for the podcast interview. So what you're trusting instead is yourself and your own autonomy and decision making power, as well as that energy about that, like it's going to work out the way it's meant to work out.
Right. Right. It's also the other thing too is like pointing out that there is actually now a shift. And maybe this is why the crew doesn't know who their boss is. It's because I neglected to tell them, we had a change in how we're making decisions. Sure, in October there was no podcast left unturned. We were booking everything, we were not turning anything down. We were committing to every essay because it's like that is what I wanted to jump into the deep end.
Yeah.
Now, not every podcast matters. Oh, I have done. I've had some. I've had almost all of them have been wonderful experiences. I've reached. I've done what I needed to do, and now I need to get out of the deep end before I drown. So, guys, we are no longer working for every pod. We do not have to take every podcast opportunity under the sun. And we
Yeah.
had this on hold, and that's all we had to do. We fulfilled our obligation. It's like we can move on. It's like I literally have to get that. It's like talking to a toddler. It's like or not even a toddler. It's like talking to an 8-year-old. They can reason enough and they can kind of argue, and you're trying to help them understand. But it's like I've got to get that specific of like, oh, I didn't tell you this. We're not
Yeah.
prioritizing these things anymore. So you
Yeah.
don't have to
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
hyper about
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
Don't need you to remind me.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's like, oh, thank you for doing your job. But we now have a different mission. That
Yeah.
mission is we don't have to do everything under the sun.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, good stuff. Well, before we end, I know there's just the two of you here, but since you're both alumni, I did want to call attention to I had tested out this new feature on More to the Story in the alumni group where I can now send, well, anyone can, but we can send voice messages to each other
oh,
on
cool.
the More to the Story platform. And I did it inside the group chat of the alumni space.
Okay.
And what I'm thinking, and I wanted to let you know as alumni, because we've always had the separate alumni space and one additional group session for alumni only. So what I'm thinking about doing for this year is retiring that alumni space and shifting to using that voice chat feature in the main home space. Like I'll create a new chat area, and that way between the group sessions, I can just send you guys voice memos. You can send voice memos back, or you can just text back. But instead of having two scheduled calls where we have to align our schedules, we'll have one, and then the rest of the time could be a little more asynchronous around still communicating, still any support that might be needed that comes up, but we can do it in the chat with the voice memos. How does that sound?
I like that
So-
idea. I just discovered it. So I just found the chat.
Yeah.
The
So
voice
it's not,
memo.
it won't, I was using that to test it. So what I'm thinking is I'll archive the alumni space, but activate the chat in the home space where that voice feature would be used.
Yeah.
So let's say you do a chat that goes out to all the members.
Yeah.
If we chat in response, does that also go back to all the members? So it's, more like a what's up type of thing, although
Yes,
but for a group.
it's a group chat. Yes.
Okay. Who else is in? I was really pleased but surprised to see Kat
Yeah,
respond.
I just noticed
Yes, I
that.
know. She has maintained her membership this entire time, but is not very active.
Uh-huh.
Uh,
So the active members are the both of you, Molly, Margaret, Kat. I mean, she's in there, but she's not really active. So that's LaSalle, Barb, Margaret, Molly, Kat.
Mindy?
Amanda just recently rejoined. She hasn't
Oh,
participated
cool.
in any calls yet, but she is in there. And then Mindy.
Oh, sweet.
So
Yeah.
there's seven of I'm pretty sure that's it. It's a small group. There's seven of you. Mindy's the only non-alumni member, which is partly why I'm thinking about kind of retiring the alumni space because it's a little redundant.
Yeah.
And just so you are aware, I've basically sunset the membership. So the membership on its own is no longer available. What I'm working on for this year is the in-person retreats, and when participants sign up for the retreats, they just get the membership as part of the retreat experience so that after the retreat they can have ongoing online support and connection with the community. And then I would probably offer that as well to anyone who does any sort of one-on-one work with me. I'm less focused on promoting the one-on-one work. It is an option, it is available, but my primary focus is going to be the in-person retreats this year, including Barb. I don't know if you saw my response to one of your messages to me on Instagram, because you mentioned trying to do like a Jana client showcase in Sacramento.
Yeah, yeah, because I have that's one of the last markets I have to hit is for the book is my Northern California and Southern Oregon contacts. So,
Okay,
yeah.
awesome. So I messaged you back and
Oh,
was
okay.
floating the idea of trying to conflate that with a retreat for alumni.
Oh, cool. That would be great. Yeah.
So we can connect on that uh, uh late at some point, but I was thinking kind of end of March. I don't know what timing you had in mind.
Yeah, I could probably do end of March. Yeah, I will look at the calendar and get
Okay.
back to you. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. That sounds cool because that would be good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but
Cool.
that sounds good to kind of like bring everybody together because the one thing I remember that terrified me from our early cohort days when we would get together with nonfiction boot camp and it would be like all of the cohorts mixed together. And I remember it was specifically something Christina asked about like the querying process. And I was like, I remember sitting there being like, what have I gotten myself into? But hearing about like people who were further ahead and it's like I'm just trying to get words on the page, lady, what the hell are you talking about querying?
Yeah.
What does that mean? And
Yeah.
it's like hearing about everybody in different phases of the publishing journey and the writing journey, and having it all come together was incredibly valuable. So bringing
Yeah.
everybody back into one group would be good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
So your boot camp system stuff that's on video, that not actively, you're not focused on selling that, promoting that. So, but
No.
if somebody comes to a retreat, they get access to membership, and that includes access to your fabulous stuff that got me
Yes.
through the book.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
because this is kind of in my ideal world, this is how I would envision it happening, where uh, right now I'm looking at the end of April to do a retreat for 3 women who are working on a book. And ideally they would sign up, maybe sometime this month or next month to prepare for April, and they would get into the community right away and have access to that material. And I would even give them some pre-work assignments around, okay, I want you to get through at least lessons 1, 2, 3, or whatever it is in the boot camp material in advance of the retreat. So they're still getting boot camp, just not in the way that we did it together.
Mhm.
And the retreat, what I'm really hoping for with the retreat framework is they'll just go really deep and make a huge leap in their book in a very short amount of time. And so then post retreat, ideally they'll have access and they'll maintain their activity in the community, and they'll be ready for review of their material pretty quickly after they finish the retreat. So that's kind of how I'm shifting things. It is a little harder of a sell, I will admit, at least right now, just because it requires people to travel, you know. Um, but what I'm hoping is people are really, and this is what I've been experiencing when I'm talking to folks, is the shift that's happening is people are really, really wanting and ready for more in-person connection. Like people are kind of tired of the online stuff. And so I'm trying to shift what I'm doing to where the online is supportive of what we do together in person.
Mm.
So, yeah. So, yeah, send me your people who are working on books and let me get them to come to California to work with me.
I'm telling you, creative tourism, it's good for you.
Yeah, I think,
Yeah.
you know, people are into it.
Yeah.
I think, well, so like right now, one thing that I haven't done is I don't have a landing page for the retreats that I'm describing to you. Which I think I need to do because I think people need to see they need a visual of where they would be staying, and I need to sell Sacramento as a destination a little bit, because I don't think people like, or let me put it this way, the other types of writing retreats where people are traveling for, like Barb, when you went to Italy for Danny Shapiro's event, or like Mexico or some other place in Europe, or some like really gorgeous, pristine place on the water in like Maine, or you know, there's these more stereotypical like destination locations, and we're talking about my house in Sacramento. It just doesn't sound like it's of the same caliber. But I will turn it into a destination by what I plan and what I facilitate for the participants. So I think I need to have that, the visual of that, and kind of have that laid out in a way that people can understand, oh, this isn't just coming to stay in somebody's guest bedroom. No, that's not what this is. You know, so that's my next step. One thing at a time, one thing at a time. And right now I have the retreat I'm doing on Saturday and preparing for that. So
that's exciting.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
It is exciting. And it's giving me other ideas. Like, are either of you familiar with, and do you know what your human design type is?
Yes.
Yes.
Have I done human design?
Long-term friend who's a whiz with that stuff.
What's that?
I have a long-term friend who's a whiz with that.
Okay. Stuff. What's your type, LaSalle?
Oh, now you're going to ask me something.
Okay. That's okay.
But I'm like the 1%. So like a.
Oh, you're a reflector?
No, maybe it's a 2%. What's it?
Manifester?
Ooh.
No, I think Terry's a manifester.
So generators are 70%, projectors are 20%, manifestors, that's what I am, are 9%, and reflectors are 1%.
So maybe I'm
Are you a projector?
so there's the main thing, and then there's also the qualifier that maybe what
The manifesting generator.
I'll I'll find it one day. I've got this really neat little metal box where when I'm taking notes here on Zoom that don't go into client files, they go there. So it's probably there, or I can write, I can let you know. So
Well,
it's like a yeah.
that's okay. And anyway, my point in bringing that up is I might do something virtual that is like human design for writers.
Ooh, cool.
Yeah. Because I'm the event that I'm doing on Saturday, I'm collaborating with someone who is a human design practitioner. So I'm really excited to see how it goes because she's going to bring the human design information as well as do readings for each participant. And I have my whole little like vision goals framework that everybody's going to be working through. So the idea is to allow the human design information to inform your vision and goals
Yeah.
process for the year. So just I kind of bring the process and the structure, and she's bringing the human design. And I am wondering how we could evolve that for writers and do something virtual, but then maybe also similar in person. So these are the kind of things I'm thinking about for this year. So we'll see.
Mm,
Anyway, it's
cool.
that time.
Yeah.
Nicely done. Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh,
Always great
before
to
we
see you
finish,
and spend time with you.
Barbara, you're going to be doing a second retreat each month. Is that in
Yeah.
okay.
I mean, when I get
So
back from Miami, I'm going to start scheduling those. I may do every other month. We'll see. But yeah, I may, I will definitely slot in some second retreats. Yeah.
good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, you guys have a great rest of your day and we'll talk again soon.
Thanks. Good to see you both.
Bye.
Yay. Bye.